Okay, we'll turn our attention from Rogers to the NCAA tournament on the men's side. And we're so pleased to be joined by Coach Steve Lappas, who's going to be calling. You got some good games here, Coach. Number 1, Purdue against the winner of Texas Southern Fairleigh Dickinson. You get number 8, Memphis against number 9, Florida Atlantic. You get Michigan State against USC, and you get Marquette against Vermont. This is all happening in Columbus, Ohio. This is going to be awesome, Coach. Thanks so much for making the time for us today.
Hey, great to be on with you, Maggie.
Listen, Coach, are you a big Jets fan, though, before we get to this? You're New York through and through. Is this a good day for you with Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, my God. I am a huge, you don't understand. Like, Joe Namath was my idol because of what he did for the Jets in 1969. So I'm a huge Jets fan. You can't get, well, I don't want to say you can't get a bigger one, but I'm up there. There's no doubt about it. And I'm so excited, I can't tell you.
I love it. I had a feeling, Coach. I had a feeling. Of course, Steve Lappas, the former head coach at Villanova, at Manhattan, at UMass, and I said going to be calling the tournament. Okay, Coach, do you think in the region you have, the East region, are you going to be calling a game of the eventual national champs?
You know, I don't think so. As good as Purdue is, I really don't think so. I know Marquette is really good too. Obviously those are two of the best teams. There's no doubt about it. But, I think Duke right now, the way they're sitting there as a 5 seed, I think they're extremely dangerous. They've played great. I know they're a little young, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But there's no doubt that Marquette and Purdue are great teams for sure. But, I think that Duke right now, after what they've been doing lately, I think they're going to be a tough one.
Wow, you think Duke's going to win the tournament?
I do. No, I don't think Duke's going to win the tournament, but I think Duke is going to win that region.
Got it.
Just sitting there as a 5 seed, they played great in the ACC tournament. I think their freshmen have really grown up. And the thing about them is, if Jeremy Roach plays well, who's their point guard, then they all of a sudden become an unbelievable team. So right now, I'm really thinking about them. And, Purdue's really good, but Purdue's got 2 freshman guards that have been a little bit up and down lately. Marquette, no doubt, is a really good team. They were picked 9th in the Big East, and they go and win the Big East championship. But I don't know. There's something about this Duke team that makes me come back to them.
Coach, I think you could argue that the biggest star in the tournament is Zach Edey. Biggest because he's so big is where I'm going there.
Yeah.
How effective is he going to be in the tournament? Because, he looked pretty good in the conference tournament to me. Can he lead Purdue on a long run?
Oh, no. There's no doubt he can lead them on a long run. The thing about Zach Edey is he is no question the best player in this tournament. They know how to, and what Matt Painter knows how to use them. They throw him the ball every chance they get, which is obviously very smart. But he's had a couple of games this year. I mean, I was there. He had 32 points against Indiana in a game they lost. So I think with them, the problem is they have 2 freshman guards, especially Lawyer, who has been struggling lately, and that's what concerns me about them. But when it comes to Zach Edey, I mean, when it comes to a usage standpoint, they use him every play. The kid has done everything possible. He's the National Player of the Year without question. And obviously, if you're in a close game, it always helps, excuse me, to have him, in the last minute, you want to throw the guy a ball. That's who you're going to throw it to. But I just worry about their freshmen. They have 2 freshmen that start. And this kid, David Jenkins, who's transferred to a couple of different places, that's really bailed them out this past weekend. That's my concern about Purdue. But Zach Edey, he's tremendous.
Steve Lappas is our guest. He's a CBS Sports college basketball analyst, obviously former coach. He's going to be in the Columbus region alongside Andrew Catalon, Jamie Erdahl on Friday and Sunday. First game tips off at 12:15 Eastern Friday on CBS between USC and Michigan State. All right, Coach, can we go over to another top seed, and that's Kansas? And I'd love to get from a coach's point of view, with Bill Self is forced to miss the Big 12 tournament because he has a heart issue, had to get some stents put in. Now he's going to join the team in the most stressful month of the season for a college basketball coach. What are the challenges here for the coach?
Obviously, you first thing you hope is that Bill's okay. I mean, it's not. I know they consider it minor, but it's not really minor when you go into a stressful situation like he's in. So it's hard to say how that's going to affect anything. The thing about Kansas is that they're a very good team, no doubt about it. And what they've done this year, considering what they lost from last year's team, is really incredible. So, and Bill Self is absolutely, without a doubt, one of the best coaches in the country. Just the way he can, the way he coaches his team, the way he makes adjustments with his team, he is a tremendous coach. Now, that being said, if he's okay, and obviously they think he's okay enough to coach, they're going to be up against it, because this is not I don't think this is a Kansas team with tremendous power inside like they've been in the past. Last year they had David McCormick. This year they don't really have a big. KJ Adams and Jalen Wilson, they're good players. Jalen Wilson's been one of the best players in the country, but they don't have that down low scorer that they've always had, that Bill Self does so great with. So, they're going to have a tough job, because Arkansas in the next game they could play, and Arkansas is very talented. But, I got to give Bill Self and his team a lot of credit that even they're in the position to be a 1 seed after what they lost from last year. But he's one of the best coaches in the country.
Okay, Coach, another number 1 seed with possible issues heading into the tournament. Alabama looks great, but it's impossible to ignore the controversy surrounding Brandon Miller, their star wingman. There's just a report that he's showed up with an armed guard because he's been getting threats. Is the situation and the tragic death that was, the team was involved with, a player on Alabama was involved with, is that going to be a distraction for Alabama moving forward?
I have to think, it's one thing to be playing in the SEC and have SEC media with you. Now you step up and you've got national media with you. And this unfortunate tragedy is not going away. So now they're going to have their answer. They may think that, all right, we already answered everything. But no, you didn't, because the bottom line is now you're going to have the national media on you every second. So I have to think that, and you were talking about somebody died, and, people aren't going to let this go. And it's certainly understandable that they're going to let it go. And the media is going to be all over it. So, you better be able to deal with and talking to the media and having this hanging over your head and have the ability to play well at the same time. I think it's very hard, and I think it's going to get more and more difficult. People may think, all right, they answered the questions. It was really 2 weeks ago that everything came out. That's true. But the NCAA tournament, the pressure mounts, the media mounts, and I think the questions are not going to stop, and I think it's just going to make things that much harder. They're a great team, and Brandon Miller's a great player, but they're going to have a lot to deal with besides playing basketball.
Steve Lappas is our guest. Coach Lappas is going to be calling the East Region on CBS. And last one for you, Coach, for me, which is Cinderella. Do we have a St. Peter's in this tournament? And if so, who is it?
You know what, Maggie, I got to be honest with you. If anybody could have possibly picked last year, they should be at when I was younger, they would say the racetrack every day or somewhere like that. People don't talk about the racetrack that much anymore. But the bottom line is, there's so much luck involved in a one-game situation. This St. Peter's team, there have been plenty of great teams coming out of that. I coached in that conference in 1988. My first head job was at Manhattan College. And so there have been many, many, many teams in that time frame better than that St. Peter's team that did not get as far as they got. The luck and whatever happened, happens, and it was great coaching, obviously, by Shaheen Holloway, no doubt about it. But to even think about coming up with somebody like that, I wouldn't even try to do it.
No Cinderellas this year.
No, there may be, but I can't think of what it is.
Listen, Coach, appreciate the time. Congrats to your Jets. This is a huge day. Enjoy the tournament. Have a great call or have a great couple days. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. Can we actually win the Super Bowl now? I know we had a great defense last year. I think Robert Sally's a great coach. Can we actually get to the Super Bowl?
Coach, you can actually get to the Super Bowl. You can actually get there. You just got to look out for
Columbus.
You just got to look out for Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Trevor Lawrence.
That's it? That's no problem.
Yeah, cakewalk for you. Coach Lappas, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate that.